Welcome to Own It, the podcast where we talk to real estate thought leaders about embracing your strengths, taking your career to new heights, and owning your future. I'm Hillary Saunders, co-founder and chief broker officer at Side. And again, my co-host today is Spencer Kroll, who just got off the plane, I think a few hours ago from the East Coast. So how jet lagged are you?
Very.
Very. Well,
yeah, night flights.
I have a guest who is going to not just wake you up, but she is going to blow your socks off if you're still wearing socks. So, do you ride a motorcycle?
No. Look at me, Hillary. Come on. I'm not a...
But you do like old fashions.
I love old fashioned, and I like socks, by the way.
You like socks.
Yeah.
Do you like barbecue?
I love barbecue.
Because our next guest is coming straight off a barbecue charity event. She rides motorcycles. She's owned a barbershop in the South. She is a top brokerage owner of this amazing brokerage company called Clareo that has gone from sales in the 20 millions, and she's going to be going all the way, I believe, for sure, up to 70 million this year.
You had me at barbecue, Hillary. You had me at barbecue.
Well, she's not only gonna bring her light, her spirit to this conversation. She's gonna teach us how to be better leaders. She's gonna tell us her story of entrepreneurship. Is that a word? Did I just make that up?
Entrepreneurship, yeah. She's entrepreneurial.
Yes. So she's had a previous company. She's done great. She's failed. She's learned. She's failed forward. And now she inspires a team, a company that she's created in Atlanta. And I'm sure you've heard of her, Spencer, is Deborah Morton. And I'm so excited. What have you heard?
What I heard is that I'm going to be inspired by meeting her. I'm told that she has a very infectious and inspiring smile. I just keep hearing the whole thing. It just felt like what a kind of a force of nature in a very positive way that she is. So I'm looking forward to talking to her.
She is beyond determined, and she's so straightforward and just asks for everything she needs. She shares information, and she demands excellence, not just from herself, but everyone around her. So I think we're going to have a wonderful conversation with her. So without further ado, let's bring on Deborah. Welcome to the podcast, Deborah Morton. I'm so excited that you're joining us.
Hillary, it's such a pleasure to be here. I'm thrilled to be invited.
I love it. So, how was the weather and how did you get here today? Because I heard it was a bit of an adventure.
It was an adventure. I was unloading a truck earlier this morning. I'm in the middle of a charity barbecue cook-off it's a 2-day event. And, why not? Sure, I can do a podcast in between. Piece of cake.
Well, Deborah, and you have this amazing company called Clareo, and I was so honored to be able to spend time with you and your team just recently and get to know some of them. And God, they speak the world of you. And I already knew that you were an amazing person and kind human, but you've got them. They're amazing.
They are such cool people, and I am absolutely privileged that I love what I do. I love life, and I am finding the most fun and enjoyment out of getting to hang out with just the best people in the industry because of it. Like all of this. How cool is this? This is a normal part of my day. Excuse me, guys, I'll be back. I got to go do a podcast with Hillary Saunders.
Come on.
I use that as an excuse all the time, by the way. So just so you know.
Do you? So when I'm calling you to do other things.
I'd like to get back to that. I'd like to answer that legal question, but instead I'm going to talk to Hillary.
This is like my normal life now. It's pretty good.
I love it. Well, let's find out about you. Can you tell us how you started in real estate, how you got here? What's your journey to start or even think of Clareo? We'll save Clareo for the end, but let's hear the journey.
So it's kind of, frankly, it's a little jacked up, just like all of the excellent people in real estate. Nobody seems to have intended. I do know a couple of uber successful people that went to college. They knew exactly what they were going to do and they're great at it, but they are so rare. Most of us in real estate, and I think a lot of the people who really excel at it have a very bizarre background, and I definitely fall into that category. I had a problem. I've always been an entrepreneur, and one of the businesses that I had, I just had a partner fallout situation, and it was tough. I was in a pickle. So
how did you get into real estate? You solved a problem? You solved your own problem?
Yeah.
What got you in there?
I had a moment with God where I was facing bankruptcy from a failed startup industry that I got into. We had a fantastic product. I was in manufacturing, outdoor kitchens, outdoor ovens, and it was a super cool product. Startup, American manufacturing, blah blah blah, didn't work out, and I needed to come up with a way to make money really fast. And I literally had a moment with God where I was like, okay, I'll sell real estate. I got licensed and worked my ass off and got really good at it really fast. And it's funny when there's a need, how you can find a way. And I did. So I joined a team and stayed on that team for 2 years and learned from the best, literally the best in the area that I'm in here in North Metro Atlanta. And they were very generous with their knowledge and their investment in me. It was mutually beneficial for a while, and then I moved on to do other things on my own.
Deborah, I've got a question for you there. You were basically running a business previously to that. Then you had to go and become, I guess not an employee, but like a team member, but certainly not running the team. And now you are running your own business again. I'm just curious about, in terms of that journey, what was the mindset shift you had to do? You said you had a come to God moment, so maybe that, I don't want to say humbled you or something, but maybe that put you in a different perspective.
Humble.
So I'm just curious. Like,
it's humbling.
What is that? But what was that like? Was that really difficult to go in and start being a team member instead of running the team, and then then making the decision you wanted to basically run your own business now?
I think the humbling moment, yes, you have to be humble. To be excellent at real estate, you have to be humble. And I mean, maybe that's why I needed the help of my team, and I needed to help people to feel good about myself, because I was in a weird headspace, and I needed, my ego needed to help others to feel better about myself. After you have a catastrophic failure and you're looking at, oh God, what have I done? It genuinely made me happy to help other people do well. And I brought that attitude toward my clients and to my team. And I believe that if you want to help, I wanted to win, but I really wanted to feel good about myself, and seeing other people be successful makes me feel good about myself. So the better I became at what I did, the better the people around me did, and we all lift each other up. And that is a philosophy that I think that is what's different about me from maybe everybody else you meet. If everybody around me is doing better, I know I'm going to be doing better. That's just a natural byproduct.
You said something that triggered something in me, which is you went from being business owner or running a business to a team member, and now you are again running Clareo and you're bringing on team members. What did you learn from being a team member in the first scenario to how you're building your team now?
Oh my gosh. So many good things. So when I was a team member, it was on a team. That was before teams were really popular.
Right. Because everybody is talking about teams and, the benefit of them. And I'm a firm believer in that.
So, and it suits me. I'm a sports fan. I just think a team environment is the way to be, period, because all of us together excelling where I'm great and where you're great, we put it together. Of course, we're going to win. Real estate is such an individualized business, everybody thinks that they can be an excellent marketer, they can be a good photographer, they can be a good data analyst, they can be good with finance, like all the hats that a real estate agent wears on a team. You just do what you're excellent at and let the other parts fill in. So that was modeled to me on the first team I was in. And that was really before anybody else had teams. So I was so privileged. I didn't even know at the time. You don't know what you don't know. And it wasn't until hindsight kicked in and I realized, wow, how novel and what a fantastic opportunity it was for me to be in that environment, because that's what I know. It's a team that embraced coaching. It embraced constant learning. And that is something I have carried with me the whole way, the never stop learning mindset. We never know it all. And we can always get better, especially in an industry that keeps changing. Like it's different today than it was 6 months ago. So of course we have to keep learning.
I want to hit on something, two things there. The first thing is coaching. Did you have a coach when you were doing your, I think you said it was a pizza oven or outdoor oven business. Did you have a coach for that business?
No, probably should have.
That's I think a key. I mean, I've had a couple of businesses which, well, I'm here, so you know how well those went. And so maybe we can trade stories.
But they make you better. Like I wouldn't trade that for anything. And I'm super grateful for it because it kicked me into, like, that was what pushed me into my journey now. So.
Yeah, no, I would probably trade 2 of those experiences, but the other ones were pretty good. But
hey, Spencer, they led you to work with me, so you should be grateful for them.
No, what's that song? It's like God bless the broken road that led me to you, or something, you know. So, yes. but the question I want to ask is, so you find a value in coaching now. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you really enjoy coaching your own agents, like that you're kind of coaching your team. I'm just curious a little bit about that. Like, what's your philosophy in terms of coaching?
I think like a waterfall. So the waterfall, like if somebody is pouring into me and I'm filled up, then I can then pour into others and fill them up, and they in turn can pour into others and fill. So my coach pours into me. I get level-headed, have clarity. I can see the horizon. I can then do the same for my team members. And they in turn, maybe they're not ready to grow their own team yet, but they can go home and nurture their children and their family and their clients because they're full. If we're all walking around full, if our buckets are full and we're full of joy and happiness and satisfaction and financial freedom and all of the pieces are full, we're not operating empty, we have a lot to give. And that matters.
I just got filled up with all sorts of good tidbits and things that I'm going to take home. That might be my next tattoo. I think I might get a waterfall tattoo. I mean, I have a lot of tattoos, but that one is like, that makes so much sense.
You know, like it's just a different mindset shift. Like Hillary, this is fun. It's great, but
it's amazing.
I don't need you to do this with me, but isn't it fun when we come together and pour into each other? Like,
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. Oh, Spencer, before we ask Deborah what fills her bucket and makes her happy, just a side note that after this, we should get Deborah's favorite old-fashioned recipe, because we had old fashions the other day and Spencer loves them too.
I do.
So there you go.
I do. I like new fashions as well.
We'll have to share that.
Yeah, if you make them with rye, I will have new, old. It doesn't matter to me.
The next gathering in Atlanta, I will take you to my favorite smoked old fashioned hangout.
Yes, I'm in.
What fills my bucket? I love life. I love the Lord. I love giving. And I think every moment on this earth is to be cherished. So being in business, it doesn't matter what industry, it's hard. And every business is different and there's gaps everywhere. And we never know it all. And no two situations are alike. And I feel ill-equipped so often, but my faith sustains me. And I always seem to find what I need. And that's what keeps it going.
Kind of on that, a lot of times when people happen, you set a goal, you do it, and then kind of just keep doing the same thing without moving. And obviously, there are a lot of pivots that have happened in the past couple of years. You've had a huge pivot, obviously, from the businesses that you've been in into real estate, and then you're pivoting from being in a team to running your own team. What do? You hit a plateau, you hit a goal or something. What? And it sounds like maybe you might draw from your faith to give you strength to go do something else. Just curious what your idea is in terms of when you reach the plateau or setting those next goals. And a follow-up to that before you answer it also is you have team members, and how do you make sure that they're going to be with you along the way as you're setting these goals?
Well, there's no guarantees that my journey is their journey. Mm-hmm. So that's actually probably the hardest part about running a team, when our paths, like we can walk a line together for a while and someone's path goes that way and mine's this way and you have to part ways. I think parting with joy for them, because my journey carries me this way doesn't mean you have to come with me. But if while we're together, it's beneficial for everyone, then we were successful. And I can wish them well and move on. Not everybody wants to go where I'm going. I'm a little bit crazy out there. Like I'm doing things that other people might not have any interest in, or it's just the time of life. Like I had a really fabulous team member, raising 4 kids, settled in suburbia. I am so happy for her that her life, like we got to a point where she can go dabble in real estate, do her thing, be a great mom. I mean, she's got the next 10 to 15 years of just being at home. Real estate satisfies what she needs the way she needs it, but being on the team was no longer the right fit for her. Mm-hmm. That's okay. I don't need her. Again, I don't need her to fill me up. We are filling up each other. So
how do you, so let's talk a little bit about building a team and what you look for in team members, since it sounds like you have boss mode dialed in. You're inspirational. You see what other people can do. You're very supportive, even if they're not on your same wavelength. So what do you look for in people when you're trying to recruit or trying to grow? Because I heard through the grapevine that you're trying to get some new team members this year.
It's the law of attraction.
Your smile attracts so much joy. I can't imagine you have any trouble.
No, it's hard. It's hard to find people who are aligned with our same values and mission. There's a lot of people out there who want what I have because they think it's easier going to be whatever. I don't try to get in other people's heads. But the right people are finding us, and you can run ads, you can do like all the zillion ways that we try to recruit and find new agents. We do all of those. But at the end of the day, a lot of times the people who are out there desperately seeking just money or a job or a stepping stone, I'm probably not the right fit for them. But I'm okay not being the right fit. And if I can help them find their place, I will. But there's only room for the A players, like the committed people who care about making people's lives better. Because we're in an industry where if you don't care about other people, you really should get out. Go do something else.
I love that you have this clarity on it. And by the way, it's not clarity. Like, there are some people, like, there was just this interview with a real estate executive, which has been circulating around the news because they were very callous about it. You seem to approach this of really wanting to raise, rising tide, raises all boats, and you really do have an infectious smile. And I'm actually Hillary. I'm moving to Atlanta, but but it's just amazing. You're really, really clear with that. So was that something you've always had,
No.
or is that something you developed? So how did you develop it then, or what made you change?
Oh, God, that's the hardest part because you can't plan to get here. And where I am today is not where I'm going to be a year from now. And it was freaking hard.
Yeah.
I don't want to, people think, oh, I'm going to build a team. I'm going to get into real estate and build a mega team and open a brokerage, and good luck. I'll pray for you, because it has been the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's so satisfying and rewarding, because the growth, if you work out, you get it. You're not going to build muscle if you don't go through some pain, and you have to show up every day and keep doing the reps to get there. I'm a big reader. I am a huge believer in the power of the mastermind. Everybody needs a small group of people around them that will pour into them and push them and hold them accountable and help each other grow. So I am partnered with a really special group of people that we have kind of found each other over the years. Started as a book club.
Oh, this will be good.
I'm a huge reader. We are huge readers. And through the sharing of our insights as we read books, and oddly, we are committed to the actual reading. Some gossip and, the normal human stuff, but we have plowed through probably 150 books in the last year. It's crazy what you're capable of, and you don't even know it. But when you surround yourself with the right people, how much you can accomplish together. And
so for someone who's listening and they want to be an entrepreneur, whether it's in real estate or they want to build the next, outdoor kitchen, take up where you left off, what books do you think would be helpful for any type of guidance or inspiration? And if you've got a long laundry list, we will put them in the show notes later. That's fine.
I spoke at a Board of Realtors luncheon last month, and my leave behind, I gave everybody a book list, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." I'm like, "That's nothing." I will gladly share a book list with you. So because it's assorted and diverse. There's some basic staples like Simon Sinek, Start with Why. You have to know what you're doing. Prior to the manufacturing company, I owned a barber shop. That's another weird side note thing. The people who I sold the shop to have the same philosophy toward growth and surrounding themselves with excellent people, and they have seen the same tide rise. So it works in every industry. And I didn't make this up. This is Napoleon Hill. Way back.
Think and Grow Rich, right? That's
prior to Think and Grow Rich,
right.
He wrote The Principles of Success. And that's a book like that fat. That was the start of our book club. Mm-hmm. We plowed through it, and that's where I learned about the power of the mastermind and all of the principles for adding value and contributing more. That's the book to start with, for sure. No one will like it. You'll be like, she's nuts.
How was it owning a barber shop as a woman in the South? Was that an issue at all? Or is that just my misconception?
It didn't occur to me that it might be an issue, but in hindsight, maybe a few people did have an issue with it, but I don't care. Whatever you want. If you want the best.
Wait, if you want the best, too bad.
What's the issue? Maybe I'm missing some. What's the issue?
Well, I was just saying, don't normally men own barbershops?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
It's a traditional men's barbershop. There's a lot of amazingly great female barbers everywhere. Yeah. So hats off to all of you. A traditional men's barbershop is very shaving, hair cutting.
Now I understand what you're saying. Yeah, no, okay, that I get. My apologies. I'm really embarrassed about what my hair looks like. I know. I'm so now.
Spencer, come on.
So
you
terrible.
Go to a salon, don't you?
No, actually, I go to a female barber. It's a whole story there, but a whole interesting story on that end. But I'll tell that over our old fashions.
I think it's an art form, though, right? It is a masterful craft. That, trust me, this is why you use a top-notch realtor, right? To sell your home. You don't, if you go to someone else to cut your own hair, why would you try and sell your house yourself, kind of thing? I mean, seriously.
It is, there is a level of mastery. You take the traditional, you perfect it, you bring it to a high level of skill and mastery. but you add to it the care and concern and the for the specific individual. So there's a lot of storytelling. There's a lot of, it is. If you're going to be excellent at what you do, I don't care if you're a bricklayer, lay bricks better than anybody else out there.
Yeah. Mastery is a good book too. Add that to the list of books. If you haven't read it or listened to it, that's a good one.
Yes.
But so let's go back to the team building and learnings. So what have you learned? Because you've had different iterations of a team, right? It's been generally small and then you've grown and some people had to part ways. Hindsight's 2020. Tell Deborah a couple of years ago, do these couple things, stay away from these other things that were not so helpful.
You have to be clear. If you don't know why you're doing it, like I want to make real estate better. Like our industry needs to be better. And that's the clarity you hear coming through is the clarity I have about that. And I have been blessed by other people who poured into me, and I'm going to do the same. I want to make sure everybody who comes underneath my umbrella learns and does better than what is acceptable in our industry. What I see as acceptable in our industry, I don't think is acceptable. I think the bar needs to be higher across the board. Mm-hmm. So when I was growing, I did maybe make some missteps along the way with like, oh, well, it's a nice person. She's trying hard. You're either going to do the work and do it well, or you're not. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So the people you hire are going to show you very quickly who they are. Believe them. I make the mistake of believing everybody like wants it. They said they want it. They're going to do it. And you know what? They may wish. I had one today that I was about to hire, and he kind of flip-flopped back and forth a little bit. And I'm like, he doesn't have the fortitude for real estate.
I love your philosophy that you're going to help increase people. You're going to get better. They're going to get better. But if you're going to play on the Yankees, you don't just bring somebody on, or the Atlanta Braves, but you just bring somebody on, you just don't bring someone on just for the sake of bringing them on. Have there ever been times though that you've done a flyer, you've given someone a chance, and it really worked out better than you thought it would? Like you kind of had an intuition, or has it always? I want to hear about that.
And we'll have to revisit this in 6 months. But yes, I have a couple of people right now who I don't have any tangible evidence of why I should have hired them. But my God, they're going to be amazing. So we'll have to check back in 6 months and see, but everything points toward it was worth to. And here's the thing. Everybody's worth investing in. The question is there's even the guy who I shut the door today. That might be the catalyst for him to go figure out, because I did it with an explanation. So I'm not meeting anybody that isn't worth having that conversation. It might be the catalyst for change they need in their life to carry them to wherever they need to go.
Sure.
I can't speak to it. I don't know, but that hire slow, fire fast, all those hard, fast rules, they don't really apply.
What I'm hearing is you are very attuned to other people and their kind of, not, I don't want to say aura, but their person, right? And what they are showing as far as skill set, drive, exuberance. And where did you learn how to do that?
Making a lot of mistakes. The School of Hard Knocks is the first place. Being a barber helped because I was around people all day long. So my life experience played into it. From a technical standpoint, I use the DISC profile for every hire. So I don't just look at personality types, but the motivations behind the personality types. There is a little bit of science behind that, because you are who you are.
And who are you on the DISC?
You couldn't guess. I'm all D. I'm DI.
All D.
All D.
Yeah.
I'm DI. I have a personality. I have enough I in me, but I have very low SC. which is why being on a team, I hire out the pieces that I need to round out to be successful. So most people I meet are oblivious to what their strengths and weaknesses are and what their motivators are.
No, I just think that's such a great thing. What you just said is that you hire out, for the people where your weaknesses are, and so many Ds don't recognize that that they just won't be able to figure it out. Like there's a lot of these are kind of blind to that, I guess. And so I just think it's great that you really seem to get it.
Well, and those other high Ds also don't want to let go. Like letting go is a hard thing. How do you let somebody take over something where at the end of the day you have so much confidence in yourself, like you can do it, right? I mean, we can all get it done, but realizing that somebody can actually do it better than you or more efficient, or you use your time better for something else. How do you let go?
I might be way off base on this, but I think part of it just might come with age. Sorry for the really young people out there. There are some things you just have to go through and learn and fail and pick yourself up and go do it again. And then you're like, oh, well, that makes sense.
But you're only 29. How did you figure that out?
Right. And I mean, it's not that you can't, because there's a lot of young people who are super sharp and have a lot of wisdom. And I would suggest to those young people that you open yourself up to constructive criticism and accountability, and surround yourself with people who are older and wiser, and listen to them. Ask good questions. And I like my young people in my life. Like my 21-year-old new licensee brings as much to my world as my 60-year-old veteran that has tons of old school knowledge. We need both. Now, sometimes I have to tell the 60-year-old, chill out. Listen, the 21-year-old is bringing something to the game here that we need, because the world is changing. And guess what, dinosaur? You need, no, seriously. Like, can we not say?
I'm hoping that you don't call him or her really a dinosaur. Or maybe you do, and it's an inside joke, because then that'd be okay too.
I'm the dinosaur here. No, I think our egos get in the way a lot of, like, the high D that won't let go of what they're frankly not very good at. Details, I'll get to it. I love my assistant who keeps my email box somewhat cleaned up for me, because I'm not going to do it myself. Yeah. I'm just not gonna.
So what is your team structure now? How many assistants do you have? Buyer's agents? What's the structure? And are there any holes that you need to fill?
Yes. So I am back to the book list, Traction, the EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System. I'm a huge fan of that, and I adopted that about a year ago. I'm the visionary. My integrator is nearby, but not employed by me yet. That component where you have a visionary and integrator, those two pieces can operate a very fast scaling business. From there, in real estate, it would be, I have a listing manager, listing coordinator. I have a marketing manager who's phenomenal. I just added a video editor. So the marketing manager's highest and best use of time is to do marketing, not editing video. So leveraging the right components. So with the listing manager, when we have a heavy influx of listings coming in, I have a VA that can help pull some of that load off with the checklist item stuff. So the listing manager is freed up to actually talk to our clients and keep the relationship strong. Because I can't be everywhere doing everything. And my clients,
I thought that was your superpower.
Yes, that's me. I just divide myself into prism and I'm everywhere. So that's super important. Your transaction manager, she's got her hands full. We have systems and processes that are now, I would say, almost complete, where I'm happy with them, where everything has a process, everything has a checklist. And because I'm Heidi, I didn't write these all myself. This is a team effort to get the processes that work for everybody. And we have a lot of cross-training in place. My team consists of 5 agents plus me. I'm still in production. And then I have my extended offering partners that are in different locations around the state.
I love the fact you said you just hired a video editor because your marketing manager has time to do what they need to do. Where are you focusing on marketing, and where are you focusing on video?
Okay, so video-centric everything.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing listing videos like before anybody else, but now everybody does listing videos. So then, clearly we need to do Reels, YouTube. We really invest heavily in our community, like the charity event I was doing today. Tonight, we're going back and we're going to be doing video and engaging heavily with the sponsors at the event to make sure we're building good community relationships. We sell homes. Homes are part of communities. If we want to help build and contribute to good communities, we have to get out there and do the work. So we use video for that. We tell the story for the other businesses in the area. We give them a platform to shine on and highlight other contributors to community. People want to live in great communities. So if we contribute to building a great community, we're going to have more people that want to buy and sell houses in our community. It's not rocket science there. That's our marketing. There's our marketing.
That is a huge piece that I hope the listeners actually latch onto, because I've seen this time and time again in super successful real estate companies throughout the US, that their shift in focus over the last year away from the actual house or product, because that has a place, but to the community and being the hub of that, the wheel, right? Where everyone in the community comes to them for anything and everything. Where do I go for this? What do I do here? And they're that central piece. I think that is just so awesome, because if I'm moving to Atlanta, I'm going to Google videos, right, of neighborhoods in Atlanta and where's my barber shop. And then you pop up with all your Clareo videos. So I think that's very smart.
Like dogs, like people love their pets their pets are equal to their kids at this point. So if
Spencer's is probably sitting on his lap because Count Chocula is usually there.
He wouldn't come on my lap today. I don't know what's wrong.
He's mad at you for going to New York.
I think he's angry with me.
Yeah. So if you're highlighting the local and independent business owner. So I was a small business owner. I understand the struggles of small business, and I know how hard it is to get a leg up. How does a small pet shop owner compete with the chains, the big national chains, or Amazon? And I use Amazon too. However, shopping local matters. This is what I'm talking about raising the bar. Mm-hmm. Real estate agents are the hub. We have the opportunity to influence our communities, and we should forget social media influencer. Let's be community influencers in the right way and help small business people get a leg up by highlighting and focusing on their business.
I just got goosebumps. And it's not because I got the AC on. I'm just like awe-inspired.
I love the positivity, and I'm a New York. I'm a pessimist, so I really, this is infectious. So I want to follow up on that though, because what I love is that you seem to have with everything you do, and it's very, very clear in everything that you've said. You actually have a direction you're going. You actually have a clear vision where you're going, right? So a lot of people, you see them with just shooting video, and like, oh, well, I'm going to have a picture of my house. Well, who cares? There's a ton of agents who have Instagram of their house.
Well, and they always have that selfie mode to them. Like, come on, guys.
Oh, there you go.
Real estate agents.
There you go.
We all know you're a realtor. There's 1.6 million of us out there. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
So you have such clarity. Is that where you got Clareo, or tell me the story of the name? How did that come about?
So I was in meditating and praying about my company. I'd never wanted it to be the Deborah Morton show. It's just not my thing. It's also not a sellable asset at some point. I'm not going to want to stay in real estate forever. So I was praying about what would this company look like if it were like the universe dropped, if God created this company, what was its purpose and its mission? Shining a light in our community. Clareo is Latin based for shining light, a bright light. I should be illuminating everything around me. And I feel like since I've dialed into that, I'm starting to embody it. Clarity is the key to all of it, but it started with the why. My why is to shine a light. I can pour into you, and to me that looks like bright light versus mud. You meet somebody that's muddy and you can just feel it coming off them. You're like, oh, get away from me. I don't want that. I want to make sure that everybody that we do business with feels the light of the universe.
One thing you said earlier, which was elevating the real estate industry, which is one of my passions, and Spencer and I talk about this a lot, is how do we go about our work lives and providing that foundation to make a change in the industry that is so old and arcane and traditionally not woman owned. So you created Clareo, this amazing company that's clearly it's got a good mission, a team, track record, and you're growing it. What's your vision for potentially getting out of production and having an asset that you can have value? And in theory, if you wanted to, retire or move on to the next phase of your life, what's your vision for that?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm so glad you asked, because I feel like after the first year in business as my own brokerage, I have a solid foundation built. And now I have everything I need to build. So with a solid foundation, I can grow. I am investing in my partners and making sure that they grow in leadership, not just in real estate, because I talk all the time with my people. We are not transactional. This is not just sell a house, sell a house, sell a house. We are building businesses that are more important than that. So if I invest in the leaders, so all of the extended offering partners that I bring on, if I can teach them and help coach them to a point of leadership, so their brand and their mission is growing with as much clarity and direction, we're going to be influential everywhere we go. There will be a point where I want to take Clareo and make it an ESOP. I don't know. I have no idea how to do this, but this is going to become an employee-owned company at some point. That will remove me from the leadership. I can stay on a board of directors, and then I will be traveling around the world doing some mission work. And I'm super excited about that. Like today, like I'm, like doing the barbecue thing, and I'm like, I could be doing this all the time. Like having influence all over. And then when somebody talks to me about real estate, I've got partners everywhere that I can, here you go. Let me set you up with Judy. She's amazing. Like whoever and wherever, I will be set up to best help people. And my people will own the company. So like, how cool would that be?
I'm floored. So cool.
Hopefully you can connect me with somebody who knows how to do that, because I don't have a clue.
Oh, girl, we got you. We got it.
I'm just impressed you're thinking about that. I don't even know what I'm going to have for lunch today. So.
I get to help judge a barbecue wing cook-off in a couple hours. Mm-hmm. Like, yes.
Aside from your favorite barbecue flavor, which is one of my questions, what is one thing that held you back historically and that you overcame?
In the process of overcoming?
There you go. That works too.
For me is the financial management, the CEO level management of running a company is challenging. I love people. I'm great at sales, contractually, the negotiation, that's fun for me. Like all the things that are hard for other people in that regard, I love. Making me sit down in front of a computer with a spreadsheet, like, and do my CEO work. It's hard. So being disciplined about that and hiring the coach that I need to get me to focus on what I need to focus with. The tip is, if you find yourself avoiding something or procrastinating, it's because you have fears. Every step of your career, there's going to be something you need to learn and get better at. Don't shy away from it. Every level you get to, there's a level that comes after it. So somebody had asked about, like, when you hit your goal, it never stops. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, now I'm like, okay, now I've got partner teams. I've learned some leadership lessons. Now I've got to learn to teach leadership lessons. Like,
that's the key right there, is you are ever changing and ever growing and embracing the challenges, and embrace the fear too, because we all have self-doubt to some level. Maybe not Spencer. Spencer's very confident in himself, but
yeah.
I think one of the inspiring moments for me was when I was having my our monthly partners meeting, and I realized that they didn't all have proper LLCs or S corporations set up. And now they're team leaders, and they're hiring, and they're starting to take on some salaries and expenses, and they're running a bigger business than just being an independent agent running their own business. You know, where you're like running everything through on your personal credit card, and you don't have any separation for your business. So teaching those associate agents to go to the next level, start thinking like a business person, create your LLC, put your pieces in place. When you hire somebody, you have to handle payroll properly. You have to pay your payroll taxes.
So
Those things.
So Deborah, I got a challenge for you here, though. Okay, so you seem very giving and sharing with your time. So a competitor comes to you and says, I'm thinking of modeling my business. Like, do you have any suggestions for me in terms of what I can do to get my team members going? I'm just curious how you handle that.
Well, I would start with the question is like, what is the intended outcome? What do you want to accomplish by growing a team?
I think getting to everyone's why, like we said not too long ago, right, is figuring out what is your why. Because if you're not in real estate for the relationships and bettering the community, it's not really a good fit. And you should just get your license, keep it in referral status, and refer it to people who do, and get your paycheck and do something else with your life.
So I have had many people ask me, I want to start a team. How did you get started? Like, who's your first hire? That's whatever. And as I watch them do that, they usually want to start a team because they're too busy and they can't keep up. And they think, oh, if I start a team, that'll help itself. Well, that's generally doesn't work out, because you're just in panic mode and looking for a quick, easy fix. And that doesn't work. And then there's other people who just don't want to work, and they tend to be in like that downline mentality. If I can have 10 people doing transactions, then I can go sit at the beach. It's very self-serving, and that's only going to work for a short while as well, because you have no quality control in place. So I don't know. There's a zillion different models in real estate, and a lot of them work for a lot of people. It's just not my thing,
Yeah.
Like
Your thing is very clear. It's very direct, and it's incredible. And I applaud you very much.
Thank you so much. That's huge coming from you.
Spencer, any parting thoughts, since you are so wise and older than me?
Oh, Luigi, thank you. Yes, I'm the dinosaur, actually, I think, looking at all of us here. I think my main thing, I really love the fact that you have masterminds. I love the fact that you keep learning. I think you've really, I guess my takeaways from what you're talking about is be around other people that are going to make you play better, on the field. Have that mastermind group. But what I really liked that you said is that it wasn't just a mastermind group of people in real estate. It is people in business or people that are doing. And that, I think, is key, is people stay in their own industry and they don't look outside. And that was one thing that really impressed me. You're just incredibly inspiring, and I love how direct you are. And I'm gonna plan my lunch, and I know how I'm gonna clean up my plate, and I'm gonna take it one step at a time.
Make your bed, Spencer, every day.
Every morning.
Bed.
First thing I do, make my bed.
I love it, and shine the light on your community and others. I think that's a big key.
That's key too.
So. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you and your time, and I'm looking forward to those old fashions in the very near future.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Pleasure was all mine for sure.
Bye, Deborah. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I never knew that I would be so inspired by someone who just kicks butt. She's amazing.
Yeah. And nothing seems to get in her way or get her down. You know, it seems like an obstacle is just something to make her day more interesting. I think it's kind of the sense I got.
Honestly, I think it's just embracing it. Embrace life. The ups, the downs, the obstacles, they're just there for the experience and to learn from, and then to take it and teach others. She's going to have no problem growing her team to where she wants to get it.
Yeah, I also like the fact that she recognizes that she might have some deficits in her own business acumen, and so it's like she said, she brings in the people that you mentioned. This a lot of people are afraid to give up control. So she seems to want to foster everybody on there, let them grow to their full level. But that also brings her to the next level too. So I think that's a nice lesson.
I think that's a key in any great leader situation, not just in real estate too, right? Is identifying your strengths, your weaknesses, and where you can inspire or coach others around you. And then it just, like you said before, a rising tide, right? Mm-hmm. It really makes the industry better in whatever industry you are in, is when you encourage others to be their best selves and embrace it when they're not their best selves with you, let them move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was the other thing too, is it didn't seem like there was, if someone is not ready for her, it might be later. They might be ready. They might never be ready, or they might be ready later. I like the fact that she never really closes the door completely. I think that's pretty cool too.
And the piece where she realized her first entrepreneurial experience wasn't the right one, and it put her in a space where she was dedicated to making real estate work. Mm-hmm. How did you start similarly in real estate? Right?
No,
you had
I was
a different career. You weren't born a realtor.
Yeah. But, no. I know I had a very, very different career, definitely, and I didn't understand when it was over. It's kind of like staying in a relationship much longer than you should. And I didn't realize. So I was what they call a secret agent. If you ever heard that term, for my first year and it's very common here in LA. Like, oh, I used to be an actress and now I'm selling. I used to be a screenwriter and now I'm selling real estate. I kind of didn't tell anybody what I was doing for the first year. And it was such a wasted year.
Because you didn't know what you were doing, or because nobody kind of coached you in the right direction?
Oh, it's a combination of that, and also I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be embracing. I kept waiting for, maybe someone will ask me to write a script or something like that. It wasn't, she made this pivot. It's like, I have to make this work now, and so she made it work. And for me, I had some savings, which it was good or bad, but I didn't have to make it work immediately. And I wasted a lot of time, and I didn't join a team, and I didn't know, I also was not in a very collaborative setting when I was doing it. It was very cutthroat where I was.
Right. Which is opposite from what Deborah is creating, right? She is saying that there is the law of abundance. I'm going to help you succeed in whatever you're doing. I'm going to shine my light on you. I'm going to help you build your own team and go from there. But gosh, I wonder what kind of barbecue she's going to eat later.
Are you a barbecue fan?
I like barbecue, but it's barbecue veggies and tofu because I'm vegetarian. So
okay.
Not barbecue chicken.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's going to be better barbecue than I have nothing against barbecue tofu. I eat it myself. I'm just saying, if you're going to have barbecue,
you might as well do it right.
You might as well do it.
And I think in the South, I've heard it's very, very delicious. So yes. I'm kind of jealous that she gets to go do that, but it's so cool to see their team grow and where she started a couple years ago and where she's going. I know she's trying to get to 70 million this year, which is incredible. Mm-hmm. So that's props to her for just deciding on a goal, making every move to get there, and bring everybody along for the ride.
Yeah, and I have a feeling she's going to get there. Or at least she's doing whatever she needs to do.
Right, exactly. Well, Spencer, thank you for joining me. I know it was a rough night coming back from the East Coast, but I appreciate you showing up on this awesome chat with Deborah.
Always a pleasure to be here, Hillary, and thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And thank everybody for listening. If you're also inspired by Deborah, please contact us with comments, feedback, and stories at ownit deborah@side.com. And we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have either in our next podcast or through email. And don't forget, we will be sharing the list of books that Deborah referenced in the show notes and in our information page. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.